Tally looks at the others. Jade is shuffling from one foot to the other, looking nervous. Gory has gone pale and is muttering under his breath. Sky is standing slightly apart, with her look on her face that suggests she has smelt something disgusting. She might be wrong, but it's hard to imagine that any fun is going to be experienced this morning, or that they could possibly ever be a team, not with Sky in their midst. "Let's get over it with it then," sniffs Sky, starting to pull herself up the climbing wall. "I suppose I'll need to take the lead." Tally flings herself at the wall and quickly grabs her handhold. There's no way that she's going to let Sky boss them about, and there's no way she's going to let her think that she's better than they are. "Come on," she yells to Jade and Gory, who are still at the bottom. "Let's go." Not looking down, Tally climbs as fast as she can, but Sky still makes it to the top before her. "What took you so long?" she drawls. "And what a surprise your little friends are taking forever." She sighs and casually inspects her nails. "God, we're going to be up here all day." "You two can make a start on the next challenge," she says to the instructor, who is standing at the top of the wall. "I'll just clip you in, and then you can make your way over to the side of the platform where you'll find an instruction card." He unclips them both from the climbing wall and moves them across to the next safety rail. Sky marches off, and after a moment of hesitation, Tally follows her. She wants to wait for Jade and Gory, but she can't bear for Sky to be in charge and do everything first. "This one's so lame," complains Sky. "Although you and your loser friends will probably be terrified." She sneaks a look at Tally and wrinkles up her nose. "I've done far better high rope activities than this. This place is pathetic. I mean, we're hardly even off the ground." Tally looks down and then wishes she hadn't. The ground seems a very long way away. If she falls, she doesn't think that she'll be getting back up again. But she can't let Sky see any of this. "I'll go first," she says, pushing past Sky and reading the card. "We have to get across the other side by standing on the tyres and holding onto the ropes." "Easy," yawns Sky. Tally ignores her and, holding tightly to the first rope, steps out onto the dangling tyre, suspended high above the forest floor. The tyre sways and she clings to the rope, waiting for the movement to slow down so that she can stretch her foot out and reach the next one. "In your own time," says Sky from the safety of the platform. "We've got all day." "You're doing great, Tally," calls Jade, and when Tally looks, she sees that she and Gory have made it to the top of the wall and joined Sky at the entrance to the tyre challenge. The tyre swings and sways, and it takes every bit of Tally's strength to cling on to the rope and not lose her balance. Finally, after what feels like forever, she makes it across to the next platform. "You're doing brilliantly," she yells across to Jade, who is already part way across the tyres. "Well done." Jade keeps on coming. Her footing is slow but sure. She's breathing quickly by the time she reaches the platform, but her face is lit up with a proud beam. Tally gives her a high five and then looks back out, wondering if Gory will be next. But it's Sky who is stepping out onto the first tyre, and so she turns away. She has absolutely no interest in watching Sky make it across in record time, and then having to listen to her brag about how easy it was. "Sky's taking ages," said Jade. "Look, do you think she's okay?" Tally looks. Sky is standing very still in the middle of the tyres, and she can see from here that her fists are tightly clenched around the rope. "I'm sure she's fine," she shrugs. "She's probably stopped to figure out a few more nasty things to say to us when she gets over here." "I don't know," starts Jade, but then Sky begins to move, stretching out her leg and quickly transferring her weight to the next tyre. The instructor gives Gory the sign to start, and he steps tentatively onto the first tyre, moving slowly towards Sky. "You can do it, Gory," yells Tally. "Just don't look down," adds Jade, and Tally turns to her, a frown on her face. "You shouldn't say that to him," she tells Jade, her voice serious. "Now he's only going to want to look down. If someone tells me not to do something, I always have to do it." "In that case, please don't stop talking," sneers Sky, coming up behind them. Tally ignores her and turns her attention onto Gory, who is bravely making his way across the tyres, although she can tell by the look on his face that he hates every second. "Were you okay out there?" Jade asked Sky. "It looks like it was a bit tricky when you got to the middle." "It was scary, wasn't it?" she gulps. "I'm not sure how we're going to cope with the next challenge. I hope they don't get any harder." "Scary?" sniffs Sky. "Are you serious? I've got something in my eye and I had to try and blink it out, and I've got no idea how you're going to cope with the next challenge either. You couldn't have been any slower on the last one, Kitty." Tally spins round. "Call her that name one more time and you'll be sorry," she shouts. Jade puts her hands on Tally's arm, but she shakes it off and steps forward. "I mean it. She's my friend, and I'm not going to let you keep treating her like she isn't important." Jade makes a small sound, and Tally can feel the rage building her body at the unfairness of it all. She swallows hard, trying to keep it down. Her hands start flapping at her sides, and her legs start to jiggle, and all she wants to do is to close her eyes and put her hands over her ears and block everything out. "What are you going to do?" taunts Sky. "Tell on me? Because that didn't exactly work out for you last time, did it?" Jade puts her hand on Tally's arm again, and this time Tally lets herself be pulled back. Sky's right. Telling a teacher what happened with the letters didn't make any difference to her attitude. Maybe giving Sky a good hard punch in the face would help, though. There is a sign pinned to the tree that is growing up from the middle of the platform. It reads, "Now you can get closer to the edge." Sky is pushing Tally closer to the edge than she's been in a long time, but she's fairly sure that the sign isn't talking about that. "I'm not going to tell on you," Tally says, her voice quiet. Her ability to keep her fear and confusion and anger reaches its limit, and her hands start to stim. She lets them. "Good," says Sky, "because we both know who the teachers would believe, and it isn't you. That's why I'm still here, because they can't be sure that I actually did anything wrong. And my dad emailed Mr. Limpkin and told him that if he sent me home without any evidence, then he'd sue the school. He's a very successful lawyer, and he always wins all his cases. There's no way Mr. Limpkin is going to go up against my dad." "But you had the letters in your swim bag," whispers Jade. "I know you did." Sky shrugs. "Nobody can prove that it was me. Maybe you put them in there to get back at me," she says. "Move on," calls Kirsten from below. "There's no time for chit-chat." Sky smirks nastily at them and moves around the opening to the next challenge. "I didn't," Jade whispers to Tally and Gory as they slowly follow her. "I'd never do something like that." "I know you didn't," Tally reassures her, and clenching her fists and trying to calm down. "Well, I wouldn't blame you if you did," huffs Gory. She's vile. The next challenge involves stepping on pieces of wood that are hanging above the ground, like tiny floating platforms. Gory volunteers to go first, but he only gets as far as the second piece of wood before a whale floats across the treetops. "I can't do it," he cries. "I want to go home. I want to get down." "Just hurry up," snaps Sky from behind Tally. "This is boring and I want to get it over with." "You can do it, Gory," Tally says, leaning out from the safety rail. "Just look straight ahead and step across the gap." "I've been reading about the number of times a rope can be used before it's too frayed," he whimpers, clutching on the ropes. "How do we know how many times this rope has been used?" Tally smiles. Finally, a problem she can deal with. She knows the answer to this question because it was one of her worries before she came on the trip. "They check the ropes every week," she calls to him, "and there's a logbook where they write down how many times each rope is used. It's completely safe, Gory." "Do you promise?" he shouts back. "Oh, for God's sakes," mutters Sky. "This is ridiculous." "I promise on Sky's life," yells Tally. "You've got nothing to worry about." Sky glares at Tally, but she doesn't care because Gory has started moving and is slowly and very shakily making his way across the wooden walkway. Jade follows him, and then it's just Tally and Sky left. "What have I ever done to you?" asks Tally, turning to look at Sky. "Why do you hate me so much?" Sky opens her mouth as if she's about to say something, but then changes her mind. Tally watches as she steps out onto the first piece of wood and begins to make her way across the obstacle. The breeze picks up and the rope starts to swing. Sky stops in the middle, just like on the last challenge.